Welcome back to an episode of Beyond the Cover podcast. This is our first bonus one, so I hope you enjoy. We have a couple more coming soon. We did one on Spider-Man Brand New Day. I know came out a while ago now, but we just wanted to give our opinions out there on what we thought. Same thing here with our opinions on the Lantern show. This was recorded July 17th though, so this is us talking about some potential leaks and spoilers that we heard ahead of time. So be warned ahead of time. There may be stuff that actually does happen in the future of the show, but I think there was one point that we really hit on that already happened if you saw episode 1, so nothing to be scared of. Stay tuned. We're going to do a video going over the first episode and the rest as Lanterns comes out, because this is a show that we're really looking forward to. But besides that, hope you guys enjoy. Plenty more bonus episodes coming. And thank you again for watching. Welcome back to Beyond the Cover. We have a very fun, hopefully, it's almost hack to say it ahead of time, but hopefully a fun episode for you. This is a bit of a bonus episode, hopefully one of very many as well. There's been some rumors going around the rumor mill, specifically about the Lantern show. And I want to say ahead of time, just in case, be warned. If you're listening to this to support us, big thank you ahead of time. But if you don't want to get potentially spoiled, click off now. I completely understand it, and I appreciate you trying anyways. If you don't care, because some of this might not even actually be spoilers, we'll get right to it. So, a couple days ago, about I think 3 or 4 now, Cosmic Book News reported 2 leaks. And of those 2 leaks, a very important game changer for the Lantern show that I think is genuinely detrimental if it's true. That being, Hal Jordan is going to die at the start of the first episode. If that's the case, depending on how they handle the rest of it, I kind of already spoiled my decision there. I would even be tempted to be turned away from it. And I don't really like boycott stuff like that. Like, I want to see what they do, but here's apparently what we're getting. So people were saying before that he's going to be Parallax at the end. Now he's full on dying at the start of the episode 1. We'll get into some more speculation. The second rumor, real quick, before I get into the evidence of this and what else has been said since then, is that the Manhunters are the big threat that the GLs are hunting, or that, like, the biggest plot or side plot that we're looking through the entire show. So then the evidence to this is there was DMCA takedowns by HBO Max's social team filed over posts covering this leak. So we're going to say, with all these leaks, just in case, I think DMCA's might be you have to take the video down, otherwise you can't make money on it. We don't make money yet, so we good. We're gonna slap a huge allegedly on it all. Hopefully that protects us. If not, we tried.
This is an alleged rumor that is not real.
That may not even be real.
This is fan speculation.
I like it. The notice of this file describing the infringements was for people discussing the spoilers of the first episode of Lanterns. That's one of the first parts of this where I'm like, is that just a person's words, or this sounds really fake? So, like I said, this could be a completely fake spoiler. So, I want to get straight into it. I know you had a point to make right away, Austin, so go ahead and take over, because, man, I've been talking.
If he dies in episode 1, are we going to skip the Parallax stage, which I really don't see happening, but is he going to go straight into the Spectre stage, which is what rolls into Rebirth?
That's something that I'm tempted to see. I think no matter what, we get Parallax, just because it's a big part of his story, but with live action stuff, you just genuinely don't know. Like, maybe there's somehow a way he like fails his Spectre role and becomes Parallax. Otherwise, what I'm speculating, it might have had more in the, I guess, the, what do you call that? The report about it, I guess, the article, rather, sorry. I think people got a pre-screening, and the only big thing that came out of it, unless this rumor, is that people felt pretty good about it and, like, really liked it. I think somebody said somewhere that the worst review is that it was good. So that's really nice to hear. My big thing is the death at the end of season 1 like an open-ended thing, almost like a cliffhanger? If that's the case, then he may not be affected. We may still get Parallax at the end of the show like people are guessing. But if he's just said to be dead at the end, if it's not like an on-screen, very obvious, like it's completely intentional, then it might just be a cliffhanger to get people to watch episode 2. For the rest of this talk, we're going to ignore that. We're going fully into the fact that it is the case. So one of the points that I wanted to make is, if this is the case, we are down 2 of the most important Lanterns at the start of the show. Because, another rumor, another apparent leak, besides the hunting Manhunters or going together, maybe because of, apparently they are investigating the death of Alan Scott. So my guess is you put the leaks together, and the Manhunters killed Alan Scott, or it's almost like a whole conspiracy of what's going on. Like there's something else going on, probably to set up for Blackest Night eventually, where they ended up finding a Manhunter, and now they know there's more hidden on the Earth. Alongside Alan Scott's death, kind of out of nowhere, that could be the case. But I'm scared. I was talking to Austin about it, and the way I see it, the perfect analogy for some Star Wars fans out there, the way I see the DCU going is we have this finite time that they're starting on. I think literally the year 2025 or 6 in the world, in DCU's universe. And I think the point is, listen, we're skipping origin stories. This is where we're starting from, and you'll see the stories from it. And then hopefully what I'm guessing is before, almost like Star Wars with you have the originals and you have the prequels and then you have the sequels. So that you can start somewhere, just be cool, and then you can get more into the history and lore with prequels, but then obviously you continue everything else with sequels. So what I would think would come from that is the JSA with Alan Scott and like the glory days, the golden days, if you want to call it, because golden age, and other stuff like that. I guess is there any other points you have off of that, Austin, before you roll into some more?
No points with that. But I do have one sad thing to talk about, and you might have a counter argument. Is whenever I get to see the interaction from Green Lantern Volume 3, issue 55, where Kyle and Alan kind of because Alan's the only Green Lantern left. Kyle's like, "Hey, I'm new to this. This was thrown into my lap. What do I do?" So they do a little spar, and after the fact, I think they're at a diner, and Kyle's like, he says he's talking a little bit, and Alan's like, "I'm gonna be honest, kid. You have the greatest and like most realistic constructs I've ever seen." And Kyle was messing with them the whole time. The diner, the waitress, all of it was a construct. It scared the hell out of Alan, and he's like, "Okay, you are genuinely, your abilities are insane. Just keep doing what you're doing, and you'll be a great hero."
Yeah, it's a bummer. And there is literally, of some of the comics I just bought, that bulk, there is an issue in there with Hal and Alan. And there's an old one too from, I think, Volume 2, Green Lantern, where Hal's run starts, where it is Alan and Hal Jordan as well. It might even be around issue 50 as like a fun benchmark issue, whatever you want to call that. There's so much we would lose out on. One of the things that I'm just scared of in general is them moving past Hal in general too quickly. Same with Alan. I want Alan too, but I think there's more hope that we do get prequel stuff for JSA and maybe straight up Alan as Green Lantern content. But something that eases it, and this is to get us into another category of talk here with this rumor, is a little bit of digging into that Cosmic News article. Apparently, the way the show is going, the original basis for it is it was going to be grounded, which I think is a cover up. I think they're going to do space stuff too. You don't have to worry about it. I don't think the DCU is going that stupid route. That what's going to end up happening is it's a grounded story, taking inspiration from True Detective, which is great. It's like that unraveling, this mystery just gets bigger and bigger, and right when you think you have it, there's another turn, just to really keep people's entertainment. And one of the points that goes along that I found out recently through this article is apparently they're going kind of linear on two different timelines, where it's 2016 and 2026. So if you remember seeing the trailer, from what I understand, that was the 2016 stuff. That's when Hal Jordan is mentoring John Stewart. And so what I think, unless there's a shakeup with this timeline thing, is we get the original year that Hal Jordan's teaching John Stewart all the ropes and being this hopefully pretty decent, at least, mentor to him and really teaching him what he needs to know. But then we're going to get, still almost like Batman the Year One, we're going to get to see that year and some stuff throughout it. And then maybe a jumping back and forth to present time if Hal's still around and he's toward the end of his career, like it sounds like he might be, and get some content from both. So the more stuff comes out, the more scared I get.
So I didn't know that twist. I'm glad you found that and read up on it. I wonder if this would be a weird take, but I wonder if the time jump, we're going to see present day John training the young Kyle.
Okay, here's a point I want to make, and there's going to be a lot that comes from it. I'm glad you bring it up, because we basically had this discussion the other day, just as a fun phone call talking about it. And I told Austin, I said, let's set this up like a bonus pod. One of the things I want to say, and I'm glad Austin brings it up, and he's completely right to feel so. I think the Kyle Rayner fans need to chill just for a second. Here's my pitch. If they had me in the creative room, which I don't suggest, I would happily go to a premiere. I'll put that out there. My +1 right here. But my idea is this. The best analogy I can make, again, funny enough, we have this sci-fi, in space universe, just like Star Wars. Have Kyle be kind of like, okay, wait, that would be Hal. No, shit, hold on. I'm trying to think of what my analogy was, because I had a really good one.
Get Kyle kind of like the Rey of the Star Wars universe.
Okay, so, yeah, probably. I think the analogy was this. Okay, almost like a Luke, I think. All right. So you have Hal Jordan is your Anakin and Darth Vader. How Hal obviously is the greatest. He is the like coming up, he's got it. And then that eventual turn to the dark side, you need somebody to take him down. Who was that? Luke Skywalker. I think originally the idea was my analogy was Kyle Rayner is like a prodigal son type. I think they still do that, but I think I was comparing him to Anakin, but without the heel turn. So like that, he's being brought up as this like he's one of the best. But I think they go all in on the prodigal son archetype for Kyle, but that has to be built up to. There's some people that are like, just skip John and Hal. Let's get Kyle already. That's a detriment to Kyle. You need that original arc. I hate to say it. In my opinion, that's really one of the only good things he had going for him, or what at least started up his run that people like. Like if you don't have that, what is his character? Yeah, he's still a creative guy. He's an artist. He's had the girlfriend situation happen because Hal technically wasn't a part of that. It was Major Force.
Invented a term.
Right. He's still frigid. He still can be a decent character, but it makes him more special. It literally makes him that prodigal son type where it's like, we had nothing. One thing that you brought up here, and I'll just say here is, you wrote down Kyle's ring was forged from remains of Hal's ring. So that was something we would need. After Hal became Parallax, I do want to say, like we talked about before, I think Kyle's ring was completely made from scratch. You looked into it? It is really?
I did research. So what happened is once he absorbed the Parallax entity, he crushed his own ring. If you remember, he stepped on his own ring.
That's what I'm
and
remembering.
Ganthet took his broken rubble from his ring, reforged it, and just kind of threw it on Kyle.
That makes sense. You know what I was getting mixed up? The battery. I think the battery's made from scratch. Okay, so that makes sense.
Yep.
Cool. Another like fun detail we need, or if not, it's like, okay, maybe they can come up with something cool. Why not just stick to the story that is special? And then you also put, if you want to do the part 2 to your point, just to at least bring it up.
And if John and Hal are fighting over one ring, how is Kyle going to work? Because,
Yeah, that's my point. Like, you can't rush Kyle. If you rush Kyle, you don't get the same effect. So all these people are like, Kyle's my favorite, this, that. When you try to rush it, you're going to hurt your own favorite character. Give them this amazing story where it's like, I think it was Green Arrow in the story for the 0 Hour Crisis in Time, took down Parallax. So, so we're just going to be like, kill Hal off, get Kyle in. Anyways, I get frustrated because it's like, give Hal at least a decent bit of his prime, show what he was, because then it gives more credit to who trained John, how good he can become, or if he ends up in this universe being better than Hal, what it took to be better. Like, he's not just some schmooze on the side. There's so much that I don't know. Do you got any other points to make?
No, but I will say, as long as Kyle isn't rushed, because I completely agree. As you know, Kyle's my favorite Green Lantern by a league, and it's not even close. Some would say a Justice League. But easily Kyle's my favorite. Just please do not rush him, and please don't just make him an ordinary Green Lantern. Give him the White Lantern status. That's all I care about.
Yes. Just to reiterate everything, I hope I didn't like repeat myself too much. Just simply don't rush over Hal. Don't rush Kyle. Give them both the arcs they deserve. I know I didn't talk about John that much. I'll tell you why. It's not that I don't like John at all. I think they're going to actually prioritize him a lot. I think he's going to get the spotlight that he needs. I have every bit of faith in them and confidence. That's why I'm not too worried. The 2 right now that are at stake, if not 3, with Alan Scott, if they don't do prequels, is Alan, Hal, and Kyle. So those are the ones that I'm like, we need to be careful, because John is definitely getting ushered in and given the treatment that he deserves as well. That's why I'm hoping let's still give that treatment to Hal, because 2011 did him no justice in some of those animated movies. And then Kyle, poor Kyle, I get why people are like, let's go. He has just gotten the crap end of the stick. I mean, the Jeremy Adams run right now, I don't even want to get into. Something you bring up, I see you brought up a point, is we will never see normal core leaders or villains if they just give them human faces. I can immediately debunk that for you with a leak I heard. That bald guy that's Atrocitus is Atrocitus in disguise. That's not actually him. He's pretending to be the bald guy so he can fit in and see what's going on. If that's what it really is, it might just be a random character. But no, I don't think you have to worry about that. And the person cast as Sinestro will play and maybe even be like the mocap or whatever they would consider that, and then they do the CGI over him. So that's 2 for sure now. And then Black Hand is a human, so that one's extra safe.
I just really want to see this one.
Yes, Larfleeze. Also, I'm glad you bring it up. Not technically related to the show. I realized today, too, I was just thinking about him randomly. Cannot wait to see him in Absolute.
I know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They still haven't done anything yet.
Yeah. Dude, I haven't thought about that. Also, I really, really want to see Blackest Night, but specifically the reason I bring this up, dude, imagine that one sequence from Blackest Night where they're all rushing forward towards the Hand and Necron, bro. Imagine a CGI'd fat elephant with a ring. Imagine
Brother
Saint
Ward.
Walker, dude. Imagine
Yep.
all of them just pushing forward and having that cool sequence. Please give me a live action Blackest Night and give me cool designs for the Lantern leaders.
Yeah, I say as simply as put, just give people what they had in the comics. Because if you just randomly swap a character out, depending on the situation, you probably can. But you're gonna have so many people be like, should have been Hal, should have been Hal, should have been Hal. Especially if they don't do it well, it's gonna be that like Hal would have done it better. Another great point that you jotted down that I think is a little bit of safety with my worries is the girlfriend arcs, and more specifically, Carol Ferris. I don't think they just skip over her. So unless they go the crazy route, which I think was a thing in Venditti's run a little bit, if they make Carol Ferris specifically a love interest for Kyle, throw the whole thing out. Throw it all out, dude. I don't think they skip
All
over
I gotta
that.
say, with Alan Scott dying, I really hope Alan Scott was pumping out before then. Because if if Kyle gets a live action within the next 3 seasons, I don't want it to be first season. Probably don't even want it second season. As long as we get to see a girlfriend arc with him and Alex, obviously where she gets fridged, and then after Alex, he goes to Jade, please, or even Sornak, I think that's her name, and he has
Saranac,
the kid
yep.
that dies.
Yep.
Yeah, as long as we get any of his girlfriend arcs, they're all good.
Ironically, they need to understand some of these, I would say majority of these Green Lantern runs are done so well, they could copy as close to one to one as they would want. I know they like to change it a little bit, and I kind of understand it and maybe agree with it. Sometimes they change it up just a little bit so that it's original and everybody gets something from it, so we don't have like Invincible fans. I know they change up a little bit there too, where it's not like, hey guys, this is about to happen. This is about to. It gives some originality. I get that, but just with the girlfriend stuff, perfect point. Getting Jade. Alex, I think, is a must too. If they skip that part of that story, they're stupid. So I think that's another safe one.
Sadly, that could be covered in one episode of a TV show because that
Right.
was for real like 7 issues.
And technically, I think it might even been 3 or 4.
Oh yeah, she was fridged in 54. He took the run at 50.
So yeah, that, and depending on, because like Invincible, I think that first episode wasn't like 10 to 12 issues or something crazy.
I
So
think it was
they
like
really
8.
could. I mean, live action might be a little longer, but if it's like animated, yeah, they could do it really quick. The big thing I want to bring up with Carol is I don't see how they would ever skip like entirely the Star Sapphires. That'd be stupid because that's an entire core that they would be skipping. But then also very important with Carol, just having her as a character and the relations around her, like Ferris Aircraft. How do you skip that? That's Kyle's original job unless they do something else. But like he's wearing the bomber jacket. I think I don't know how they would skip that. So yeah, this is all I would say a big bonus episode of I'm worried. Do I have the right to be? And we're just gonna have to wait and see. Basically, I think it drops basically in a month now. Isn't it like August 20th or? Okay.
I think 26 or something. Now you're obviously a big Hal guy. Do you think we'll ever see Cowgirl as a little interest?
That's another one you wrote down, and I would love to see. That's a fun, I think what they call a foil, where it's like it puts pressure on Hal and Carol to kind of like stay together or what's going on, like, oh, who's the new one around or something. And it further pushes the point of they really do deserve to be together, but man, they suck for each other sometimes. And getting to create that space for a little bit to understand different things, like, oh yeah, I do really like having him around, even though he's a pain in the butt, or she really is somebody I need, stuff like that. Yes, I would love to see Cowgirl too, especially in the Jeff Johns run where was it the Star Sapphire, like,
yeah,
crystal or whatever went after? Yes, I think that stuff is very fun too. Yeah,
now
as much as possible, just dump comic lore into anything Lanterns, and I'm happy. It's one of the groups of characters, and I guess better put cores, I've went into the most. Obviously, that's my biggest interest, and it's one of those things I believe in through and through. The ones that I've read is like, take something from there, take something from there. I will say, you have Aricia written down to be in this. Do the Jeff Johns stuff. Don't do the Englehart stuff. That, luckily, I know you just saw that video. It's been retconned, luckily, I think, through Jeff Johns or somebody else, so that technically didn't happen now, or it happened a different way than they said. Absolutely have her, though. She's a fun character. Just don't make the same mistake that Englehart
I think
did.
we definitely, I think if they follow John's run, I think we should definitely get the Lost Lanterns because it's a good little arc.
And Alpha Lanterns. Oh, so cool.
I did not write this down. I just kind of riffed it thinking about talking about Lanterns and Jeff Johns. Do you think we'll ever see a standalone movie or a standalone season for the Sinestro Corp War?
Oh, I think if I had to choose, and I genuinely do believe this, in today's world, TV shows are doing a phenomenal job of giving you more lore, more time with characters, being able to actually spread out this story they have and give it its time rather than rush it in a way of a movie. Because everybody pretends that nobody can watch a 3-hour movie. Obviously, you have a sense of comfort that you want to be in, but a lot of people will just watch from their house or streaming service, or like this guy. I do every once in a while, but they may even watch it over the course of a couple days or like take breaks. So although a movie would be epic, like one of the most mainstream things you can do, TV shows are right there too. So if you wanted to have that drama and those big moments of the Sinestro Corps War and Blackest Night and all that, do it through shows. I will say though, now that I brought it up, Blackest Night, I was talking to Joe about this, needs to be a set of movies like an Infinity War and Endgame. Imagine, I'm trying to remember tit for tat because the details get loose as I read more books since what I've read and just over time. If they set up, and I know it's like, oh, you're just going the cookie cutter. I think it's great. The way Infinity War sets up Endgame and right at the end, you see the fail. If we had Blackest Night, whatever they could do up until Necron being brought back is like oh, shit. Like, what are we supposed to do? And then you have the rest in the part 2, please. Because there's so much after Necron, too, still. It might be deep into those issues, but then you still have a lot you could cover in a second movie. And then that way, the second movie wouldn't have to be 3 hours like people can't sit through.
Yeah, and in the second movie, we could get standalone sequences for all of the heroes and villains getting their rings.
Yes. Oh,
like Lex Luthor Orange Ring,
yes.
Scarecrow. Yeah. Oh, yes, bro.
And the White Lantern stuff with Sinestro and Hell, which obviously you can't do if Hell's dead.
Speaking of, there's Blackest Night.
Oh, I thought you were looking at your phone. I'm like, this is over, dude.
But yeah, dude, give us movies for that, because that alone is what got me into comics, and it's a beautiful story. I think a TV show would play that well, like you were saying. But having a dual movie like Infinity and Endgame, because it's not, Blackest Night isn't just like a Lanterns related event. No, it included the entire DC universe.
I think one of the things I want to bring up back too, because I was just reminded, obviously thanks to Geoff Johns' run, and I think there was somebody before him, otherwise Geoff Johns himself, Hell can die and come back. That was the whole point. Okay, yeah. He was Parallax, Spectre, and I think he dies fully after Spectre, and then he's brought back. So all this is kind of, I'm scared if he dies, because they might make a weird decision like keep him dead, let him rest. Because people always complain, oh, everybody comes back in comic books. Imagine they're like, you know what, for the show, for the DCU, we'll keep him dead. We'll respect that. I was like, no, this is the one time I don't want you to. But then also, I just don't want them to make these dumb decisions, like with shows and movies and how the trailer and the stuff around Lanterns, it seems like they have these avenues that they could go down that's just like mind-bogglingly dumb. And one of the I guess points I made with Joe that I just brought myself into, I actually have a theory on the DCU, and I think this could be true. I think they're trying to look incompetent before some of these projects so that when it rolls around, everybody's going in with like not necessarily low expectations, but ready to genuinely like hate watch or think that it's going to be dog crap, and then they're like, oh my gosh, it's good. Like almost like playing into it, the calling it Lanterns, no green in it, the lack of what they're showing in the trailer. I feel like the show might actually end up being really good, and if that's the case, I'll be appreciative. That's like, look at everything that you saved for us. Isn't that so nice? Like, you didn't have to show all the biggest moments and spoilers and give everything away. One of the things, as an example, as a closer trailer to it that dropped within the last like month, we see some constructs. I think there was like a money one, a couple different ones, like the dome and everything. So I think they're hiding stuff, and if anything, part of their marketing is having people shit talk some of this stuff because they know people are willing to. And then my theory, it gets in people's heads. All these people that might not have watched it or got around to it quickly, they're like, yeah, I remember hearing about Lanterns. Yeah, I remember. Oh, that comes out soon? Okay, I'll check it out. And it's almost like that, I can't wait to see this crash and burn. Or, yeah, I did hear about that a lot. They watch it and they're like, oh my gosh, this is good. I hope that's the case. That's my biggest hope. Me and Joe were laughing. We're like, if it's not that, I don't want what's out. What the other thing is. Like, it just genuinely is bad. Like, it has to be that.
Now, we've seen recent comic book adaptations kind of doing different like sequences from covers and stuff, like specifically Brand New Day doing the several covers and several homages. Do you see Lanterns potentially homaging Green Lantern issue 49?
Yes. I think that would be sick. The way Brand New Day is doing it, where they're just like basically straight 1-to-1 besides the designs being a little different. Doing it like that, I don't know, but I think they do absolutely play off of that, where hell, if they give Parallax the time it deserves into like the transition to it, I think they will absolutely do the killing core members, taking their rings, and hopefully we get a shot of like a terrifying looking Kyle Chandler with like the white and everything, just like the that'd be so sick. Just like a close
Dude,
up, and then right
I
back
could
to
just
whatever he's
imagine
doing.
him.
Yeah.
I could just imagine him aura farming, like the lanterns or the guardians saying, "What have you done?" He's like, "I'm just getting started," and it goes, "That'd be aura."
Also, I wonder. I know certain creatives are invited to the premieres and stuff. Maybe since it's a show, they might not do it the same way. I really hope some of the best Green Lantern creatives, like a Jeff Johns, honestly, for our sake, because we like him so much, like a Daryl Banks, I hope people like that were invited, because I know they did stuff with Bill Quist-Evely, and Tom King's very close to all of them for Supergirl. So I hope they get that same treatment where if they end up homaging the 49, I hope Daryl Banks gets a fat paycheck for that. But we'll see.
Now I do think he does still do a little things, like he just did the Superman
Yeah.
Spider-Man story, and I think he was in GL 600, but I'm pretty sure Johns is like strictly Image currently, right?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. He left DC around late 2010s, I think. Like fully.
I didn't know that. Okay. Hey, at least it's not a Marvel case, because if he left Marvel, then it really went downhill. But no, DC's still thriving, and his Ghost Machine is thriving. So
Yeah. So we'll be here to support. All right. Any closing thoughts? Because I have talked in circles, unfortunately. Not trying to.
real quick, the Lanterns title not being Green Lanterns. I see. Before I saw the stuff about the guy talking about he hates the color green or the color green is stupid or whatever, I thought they were just doing it so they could add other Lantern cores. So I thought they were doing that for like the Orange Lantern, Red Lantern, all those. So they didn't have to strictly set it to
yes.
green, but then
Yep.
they said, oh yeah, green's stupid. So I'm like, ew.
Also, don't worry, that green stupid thing, completely sarcastic, and people took that way, way serious. And I think it was even obvious he was sarcastic, and I don't know how it got there, but it was like people reporting on what somebody reported, and then like it even got to Grant Morrison, and he wrote out like this long message, like there should be a respect, and this, and the person was like, whoa. When I know I've upset the Grant Morrison, I know I did something wrong. And he wasn't being sarcastic either. He was like, this is like one of the guys, my bad. And he explained himself more, and it was like it was a joke and whatever. So luckily that's the case. If that was true and we had somebody like that just like hates comics or some of the aspects of it, get them out. That is one of my last points, and if you have any more, go ahead and go after me. Please, for the love of God, we're making comic book movies. You can say superhero movies. If you're going to base it on a comic book like Woman of Tomorrow, have a genuine respect and want to adapt it. And I hope the DCU keeps doing that. If they want to do a movie where they take from 2-3 different runs, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, the Batman 2022 was, I believe, part of Batman Ego by Darwin Cook. You had some Long Halloween in there, and I think there was another one if it was year one or a different one. That's cool. I have no problem with that. But to like be like, you know what? We're going to do our own thing. I'm going to save you the time. Don't.
My only closing thought is, if Alex Ross is a part of the DC movies, don't let him near a Wally West project, and don't let him near a Kyle project.
Nice. All right, see you guys.